It's Tuesday, and you know what that means. It's IndyCar night on iRacing. Hello again, everyone. I'm Gary Gotza. Welcome to Race First coverage of Round 7 of Season 2 of the 2024 IndyCar Oval Series for the 4D RACEWEAR Tuesday night top split, coming to you from Homestead Miami Speedway. As always, joining me in the booth, well, he's not here again. Stevie's having some PC issues, and he's looking to rebuild. But we still got a superstar group of racing experts here to help me out in the booth. As always, he's a regular participant in the IndyCar iRacing Series. It's Justin Petschauer, and he's a contributor for Jalopnik.com and on the Motorsports 101 podcast, Ryan Eric King. Fellers, we didn't really talk much about any stories coming into today's race other than just the commanding lead that Robert Malechka has in the points standings.
Yeah, it's he's trying to break a record of at least, if I remember correctly, 2,000 overall points to take the championship for the Indy Oval Fixed side. I wouldn't be surprised if he breaks it, as we see a number of cars already out on track here, throwing down those hot laps under this very overcast sky. But from what I've seen, it's supposed to clear out. We'll get some mostly cloudy weather as the race goes on. And it's only a 75-lap race, but this race has been known to go by quick with green flag pit stops happening out of nowhere. Wreck?
Yeah, and it's always great to see these cars here in South Florida. It's been a while since IndyCar has actually raced at Homestead Miami, but I'm pretty sure we're going to see some entertaining wheel-to-wheel racing tonight.
Yeah, there's we'll put up again here. Here are the point situation. Robert Malechka, 1581 to Jacob Oster's 1382. Nick Sudik in a distant third, 1250. But then it's a pretty tight battle between Toronto, the Iceman, Akawazi, Trey Shadid, Tyquilla, 1193, 1160, 1150, 1095. Kyle Clinsworth at 8. For Porty is 9th. Pizarro is 10th. And so forth and so on. That is the fixed series point situation. Actually, that is not the point series situation. It is the points at Homestead. There they are. Gary, good God. So the record's going to fall here. Malechka's, at an 1814. Most Oster's at a 1566, and Sudik is at a 1505. But again, we'll go through the Iceman is 4th. Clindy is 5th. Shadid is 6th. Troiano is 7th. Arca Brakes is 8th. Tyquilla is 9th. Fraporti is 10th. Brian Campbell's worked up to 11th. Josh Tucker, the highest-ranked Division II driver, is 12th. Pizarro is 13th. Seb Alexander, 14th. And Pinero, four-wide Pinero, we kind of see him in a spot we don't normally see him or used to see him here, way down at 15th, just shy of 1,000 points. But that is the point situation here as we have a minute 2 left in qualifying, and we take a look here at the chart. Oster is currently on a provisional pole with a 212.5. A pretty good, solid run over Ponto at a 212.3. Murphy at a 212.1. Clindy at a 212.1. And then Morera at a 212 flat. There's another 212 going up in there. Who not sure that was Morera. Clinsworth for Porty. There's for Porty. The postman is sending it. He is P4. We should have 21 cars. Everyone has going to qualify with the exception of Braden Carroll in the 21st. I don't know if his name's going to show up on the starting lineup overlay, so just keep that in mind. It might just not show up, but he'll be 21 cars in this field. And
now, Oster was on the pole, but not anymore.
Akawazi, the Iceman. There's Malechka. There's the one we've been waiting for with 2 seconds to go. Malechka, RM3, 212.699. Just shy of a 212.7. He is on the pole as we just ran out of time. Let's take a look here. Let's clear off the screen from these graphics. There we go. And let's bring in the starting grid here for Homestead. And we'll also include the speeds here on the grid in. Let's try reloading there. There they are.
Starting on pole tonight.
Go right ahead.
We didn't know who was going to start. Robert Malechka III, once again, as is tradition, starting on pole, followed by Hamilton Nakabuezi, starting on the outside of him. Next up, Jacob Oster, Matthew Ponto, our friend and fellow broadcaster, I must also mention, Mark Murphy, starting in 5th, with Trey Shadid starting in 6th, Adriano Faporti starting 7th, 8th, the Clendy man, Kyle Clendworth, starting 8th, 9th, Nick Sadiq, another fellow broadcaster of ours, and starting 10th, Maria.
Yeah, everybody in the 212 bracket there. The Gas Man, Nelson Messias 11th, Brandon Trost in 12th, Stephen Lee 13th, Ty Quilla back in the field in 14th. Expect to see him moving forward. El Patron, Antonio Estrada 15th, Bruno Romanzini is 16th. The Sidewinder is 17th. Brian Campbell back there in 18th, and Will Eubanks is 19th. And we don't have the two cars that decided not to qualify on the overlay. So we're going to have Jacob Collins and Braden Carroll following the remainder of the field here in 20th and 21st. Again, the overlay doesn't show that, and that's kind of a bug that we're currently working on. But we're getting ready to go racing.
I'm expecting some pretty damn good racing compared to what's going to be happening north of us in the first state in the union.
Oh, the C trucks tonight at Dover. Oof. As I said, that's sadomasochistic there to drive trucks at Dover. Willingly want to drive trucks at Dover.
They call it the Monster Mile for a reason.
Well, any type of car you run there at the Monster Mile, it's bound to be chaotic, no matter what.
And the 2.5 I5G car is running side by side on the pit exit out row, or the road, excuse me. So they tight quarters there, playing around. Everyone now joining the backstretch, getting into line. Here's your weather situation. 87 degrees track temp. Air temp is 78.
With the slightest of slight breezes, but the relative humidity, they don't call it South Florida for nothing. It's 71% humidity, and it's rising too. Oof.
We will talk about the many faces of Homestead as we get into this race. We are currently pacing now. Field is under the command of Robert Malechka with Akabwezi all over him. I mean, he is really wheel to wheel with him already. Here we go. And that's exactly what he wanted to do. He wanted to cut in behind him.
Yeah, they're definitely playing a strategy of cat and mouse, but I think they're going to do that mainly for fuel strategy reasons, because you can go by quick if you run wheel 1 with the fuel map setting here at Homestead. Or maybe not. Maybe they'll just play tag team on the switching of the leads as they come off of turn 4.
And Akabwezi decided to tuck in behind the RM3 to start the lap and finishes the lap leading it as he is glued to the high side as we ride with him just briefly. There is RM3 scooting up the racetrack and banking, now giving the draft to Akabwezi going into 3. Akabwezi down low. The Iceman taking a peek. And he goes back to the lead. Also involved in the battle, here's Jacob Oster, very interested third party watching. Matthew Ponto, he is sitting there in a 4th spot. Mark Murphy is in 5th, right there with Clendy, not quite a teammate, but a broadcast partner. And Trey Shadid, that is also one of Murph's teammates. He is there in 7th. Alan Morera there in the green car. That looks like a Gatorade type sponsored car, but he is currently 8th. And the postman for Porty, he is in 9th. Brandon Trost has worked his way up to 10th.
The best part about running here at Homestead, even in an IndyCar, you can run the high line, the middle line, and the low line. Plenty of room to find clean air as best you can, as there's almost a 3-wide situation up ahead of Brandon Trost there. They're back down to 2 wide now. I think they saw that it was going to be a little bit chaotic trying to pull off a 3-wide situation going through 3 and 4.
This is progressive banking here. So the top portion is banked higher than the lower portion. So multiple lines. Yep, go right ahead.
18 degrees on the bottom, 19 in the middle, and 20 degrees on the top. So you can run anywhere, but you want to you want to try and save that right front tire as best you can, especially if you're running on that low line at these type of speeds. Especially in dirty air.
Watching a side-by-side battle here for fourth and fifth. Clindy and Ponto. Clindy pulls it off. Now we got Oster on the inside. Oh, Taylor looked at the inside, decided not to send it there. He's falling back in line.
Yeah, he was falling back in line, but now he's going to try and send it again. Meanwhile, behind Oster, there's a battle for fourth place there. Ponto was trying to get a run. He hit the dirty air behind Clindy, had to back off, lost a bit of ground, not a lot though. But the one that's behind him, though, is Mark Murphy. He's moving around to try and find just that little sliver of clean air. That way he can make his run towards the front. But it's not doing so well for him because he's losing ground now as Trey Shadid tries to make a run going off into turn number 1. Shadid hugging that white line there, trying to find a way to get past Mark Murphy. Slides back in behind him as they go off towards turn 3 here. He's definitely going to try and see where he can throw this car because he's noticing that Murphy is having tremendous trouble off of the corner, especially turn 4.
And just to give you how the overlay works, as we've updated a couple things. First of all, there's a line separator between 10th and 11th because after the 10th spot, 11th through the remainder of the field will cycle through. So that is why there's a divider there between 10th and 11th. Also, if you notice by the position number on the tree far to the left, you'll see a purple number next to Clindworth. That's because Clindy has the purple lap. We keep track of the purple lap now as the race progresses. So Clindy with the purple lap, and he's currently up to 4th spot. So that's how you kind of read our overlay. Currently right now we got intervals, but we've got a couple different options we can show you as we'll cycle through those during the course of the race. 10 of 75 in the books. Thanks for joining us. This is race first coverage of the Tuesday night top split of the IndyCar Oval Series. We are at Homestead. Make sure to smash like and click the bell. Hit subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss out on the next race first race here that we cover for iRacing.
Meanwhile, back up at the front, it's just throwing haymakers for the hell of it between Hamilton Akabuezi and Robert Malechka. Basically, they're having a ball. They're having a ball all over the track. They're basically, I hate to say it, they're doing the Talladega swap. If Rec gets my drift on that one.
Yes, I do understand. They're basically slingshotting past each other just to keep their pace up, try to pull away from the field. It necessarily doesn't work, but it'll ensure that there won't be rivals packing up behind them.
Well, Clindy's coming. He's 5/10ths back from this battle.
And I think Oster's just hanging back saying, you guys can just
Go right ahead. Help yourself.
I'll just have a front row seat with the popcorn in hand and everything. Meanwhile,
Ty Quillen not having a good race. He's dropped back to 19th. I don't know if he had some contact, but he's back to down 5 spots. Unfortunately, not a good start to someone that's in the top 10 in the points. But still a long race to go. We could have some attrition going on. Bruno Ramanzini also not having the greatest race, along with our broadcast partner, the Antonio Estrada El Patron. They're down in 17th and 18th. And again, I don't know if they're just allowing everything to happen in front of them. They're kind of expecting a big one, or maybe they're just kind of racing on an alternate strategy right now. But 3 guys that we normally see at the front, or at least definitely up in the mid-pack, are back in the rear for the first time in a while that we've seen them.
Yeah, I think it's the weather conditions with the overcast skies that we got. I think it's playing havoc on the way the handling for them usually goes. Because majority of the time we'll see them up near the front mostly under like partly cloudy, clear sky condition.
And here's Nelson Messias. Of course, we know him as the gas man because he won a race last season, a fuel mileage race at Dover. Thought we'd never seen that. He's taking a look to the inside of Marrera. This is going to be for the top 10 spot here in 10th. Nelson to the bottom. Moreira's going to have the momentum up top. Off the corner exit, Brazilian slide. Yes, there it is. With the Brazilian clear, and Messias getting the position over Moreira.
Not by much, though, but he's using that high line to his advantage as they come off of turn 2 here. Everybody is trying to find their way, see if maybe they can get away with 2 wide racing for maybe a lap or 2. Majority of the time, that's not going to work, especially with turbulent air, even though it's breezy conditions out here in South Florida.
And here's another good battle, Lee Sudik and Brian Campbell. This is a battle for 13th, 14th, and 15th. Sudik says that he had an eye appointment just before the race. Wasn't sure if he was going to jump in, and we just, sure, go ahead. So if he binds up the entire field, really, it's peer pressure that caused him to do it.
Yeah. A few of us essentially poked the bear to get him to run.
Well, while we're watching the battle here at the front, I like to say Homestead has had more alterations than a Kardashian, and there are many IndyCar track records here. Although, if you talk to Atlanta and you talk to Texas here soon, they'll be saying, hold my beer. But, of course, as you know, when they built this place, this was a 1.5 mile rectangular oval, a little mini Indy back in the day.
Yeah, I was about to say, they built it as a miniature version of Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and it somewhat worked, but it didn't work.
Yeah, the reason why they got rid of the configuration is it had very bad angles to the wall. So it was for driver safety. Then they determined to, okay, well, we'll reprofile, we'll make it a flat track, paperclip shape, but no banking. So just flat everything. So just think of a slightly elongated Milwaukee. And then after a while, they decided that they would add banking then to the racetrack, especially since the Cup Series started coming here. Go ahead.
There was a bit of trouble there. Nelson Messias just lost. I think he brushed the wall or something come off of turn 2 because I saw a car. No, there was contact between him and Brandon Trost going off into 1. They saved it somehow.
Here it is. We're watching it right here. Goes to the inside.
Again. Trost just cut down on him. Like he wasn't even there.
Let's go back and go to another 5 seconds back in time. Let's do the roll bar for Messias. Here, check it out. Messias, we've got nothing going on the racetrack right now. We could watch this. He gets in there. He goes to the bottom. Watch the seals. Yeah, he just kind of came down on him. Nice save.
A hell of a save, I will admit that. Yeah, I just happened to catch it out of the corner of the screen over here. It's like, whoa, what happened here?
And still the 2 up top. But Clindy has caught Oster. But I was saying the pre-mini, the pre-1980, or excuse me, the kart pre-98 original Indy configuration, track record set by Paul Tracy at a 198.5. The kart pre-2003 flat oval configuration was 98 was the track record set here by Greg Moore, but to a speed of 217. Then when the IRL came here, of course, this track was on the front lines of the IRL or the IndyCar Civil War, as both the series raced here at one point or another. Pre-2003 flat oval configuration set in 2003, as a matter of fact, by Tony Kanaan, a speed of 203. And then I believe this is still the overall banked track record here, set by Sam Hornish in 2006 with a speed of 218.5. The IndyCar record for the fastest 300-mile race was set here back in 2009. Dario Franchitti won that race, no cautions, for a speed of 201.420 miles per hour. The all-time wins leaders here, Sam Horner, Scott Dixon. We talked about him in the pre-race. Dan Wilden, all with 3. Michael Andretti has 2 wins here. And ironically, I say this ironically because he set them both on the mini Indy configuration. So he had much luck. If you take Indianapolis and shrink it by a mile, you apparently have better luck there. But we're watching a battle between Clindy and Oster now, side by side down the backstretch. And Clindy gets a position. Move him up to 3rd.
Now, before we forget, we also got to make mention of another broadcast that'll be happening this Saturday. Gary.
Yeah, Saturday, 2 p.m. It'll be the IIS Strength of Field race at Barber. And it'll be myself and this man, Antonio Estrada, in the booth calling the action for that one. So that's 2 p.m. Eastern. The IIS, the iRacing, or excuse me, the IndyCar iRacing Series.
90 laps, full distance around
Yeah.
the Augusta of road courses, as we like to call it affectionately. And it's also kind of funny because it's the ending of speed weeks in the state of Alabama. Last week, it was NASCAR speed weeks at Talladega. Now we finish it with a road course in the iRacing IndyCar Series at Barber Motorsports Park. I'm looking forward to that. That's actually one of my more favorite road courses, believe it or not, because it gives you that roller coaster ride feel with the amount of elevation changes and undulations that the Barber Motorsports Park has.
And everyone is kind of separated out now. And then this is the thing with everyone being well behaved, is now where we kind of all have gaps between everybody, that there's really no direct contact. Here's the closest one right here. For Porty has a battle of a couple cars right around him. And Stephen Lee and Brian Campbell, here's a shot for 10th. Ooh, did Alan Morera smack the wall?
I think he did.
Oh no, he just got loose coming off the corner. So a little too much weight jacker as these guys are trying to get these cars to rotate a little bit more.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was also messing around with either the front or rear ARBs.
And a continued battle here between Lee and Campbell. Looks like Campbell is back home after his Long Beach weekend.
Speaking of that was probably one of the best races I've seen in terms of real life racing at the beach in quite a while.
My understanding is that the attendance was the largest attendance since the McCart days. Or the Champ Car days.
Oh.
And now we're going to go 3 wide. Nick Sudik to the bottom. And he will get the position. So he got a 2 for 1 after an almost oh crap moment there from Lee and Campbell.
Yeah, Lee had to get out of that one. He almost smacked the wall, had to back out of it. Campbell almost right into the back of him. But Campbell is now down, using that low line to his advantage as Stephen Lee is stuck up on the high side. Stephen Lee is he's not having a good time right now, but he's definitely making a comeback. Going off into one over here next to Brian Campbell, still side by side just a little bit.
First of the pit stops, yes. First of the pit stops. The Sidewinder is in, as well as Roman Zini. These are scheduled stops. This will be their one and only stop.
I wouldn't be surprised if the rest of the field is not too far behind from making their pit stops. Now, the two that are in, though, they're trying to pull the undercut, is what they're doing. At times, it does work here, but only if there's a caution that happens later on in the run.
I would say it would work also if they were closer to the leader. They were kind of ways back there, so they got nothing to lose as Morera into the wall in 3 and 4 on the high side there of Antonio. Ragon, I think, might have sped coming into the pits. I think he's done.
I think he is as well, and I think there's a problem for Nick Sudik as well. Yeah.
Gotta find Nick. Here we go. That's Antonio.
Yeah, he's missing the left front wing.
Yeah, he got run up into the turn 4 wall.
Oh. Well, let's go back and see what happened.
Yeah, he had nowhere to go. Campbell was washing up.
Here it is. So we're about 20 seconds away from seeing the actual incident here. So it was between him and Campbell. So let's go ahead and put the camera on Campbell. Campbell, this is off turn 2. This is the run down the backstretch. And Campbell to the inside.
just washes up, nowhere to go, and Sadiq just runs into the back of him, taps the wall, probably breaks something on the suspension.
I think Campbell's car had some damage too. I thought I saw a wobbly back wing here. He comes sliding up.
Yeah, that was from Sadiq running into the back of him.
Yeah, that was contact. He tried to roll out of it, and then Nick had a head of steam on the high side. But for Campbell's good fortune, his rear wing snaps back into place.
In that instance, I will say, iRacing, can we fix the damage model just a little bit on that one? That way it doesn't happen. Or it doesn't magically snap back in place, even in replay format.
And we got Kyle Clinsworth on pit road. Back there, Stephen Lee in the background there. He's on pit road. Nelson Messias, the gas man. We know he knows how to save fuel. He saves fuel like Dixon saves fuel.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you folks, if you're not a Scott Dixon fan and you watch IndyCar, you really need to adjust your loyalties just a little bit. That is, you're watching a master in the making, a legend in the making, an absolute masterpiece that he put on there at Long Beach. And I keep telling people that he's gonna get that record. He's gonna get that AJ record. And if it's not the championship record, he's definitely gonna get the wins record. And I don't think people appreciate really how significant and how old that record is. That is one of the longest standing records on IndyCar history. Is that all-time wins record
in sports history? Because there's been IndyCar, the national championship, in some form for a century.
Yeah, more than 100 years. Foyt's last win was in '81 at that kind of the awkward Pocono 500, and that's his 67th and final win. And right now we are within 10 of that being a number that we might see a current modern day driver get to. And also, he's three podiums away from getting the all-time record of Mario Andretti's podiums.
And not to interrupt you, but RM3 is coming down.
There he goes. Yep, we got the camera on him.
There he goes.
Porporti on pit road. The postman decides it is time to top off the tanks.
Probably get some fresh rubber as well.
Oh, yeah.
Car.
So the rules here, just as a reminder, you do have 3 sets of tires, 2 in the pits, 1 on the car when you start the race. There are no compound changes here on ovals and IndyCar racing. Back in the old days, there were. But they weren't required to change compounds back in the old days. But there were different compounds you could. In fact, you could go back and play, go to abandonware and play IndyCar Racing 1 and 2, and that's something that you could actually adjust on the car in the races. Wanted to add hard tires, add hard tires. Add medium tires, add medium tires on an oval. Doesn't matter. What I'm hoping that we're going to see here with the hybrids is that maybe we get some type of push to pass on the ovals. That will be fun.
Now, granted, we did have push to pass in the ovals back in the early 2010s, but it really didn't do much.
Well, what it was is it was a cheat. It basically turned the engine boost up to its highest level for a certain amount of time, and it wasn't like push to pass like we know it now. So it was a bit of a cheat, but up until about 2011, they did have push to pass on ovals in some form or another. I even remember back when, was it 2005, when Danica was leading the 500? And I remember being at the track there, and I remember her on the radio, because I tuned into her radio, and she said to her crew chief, "Can I use the button on the restart?" And because she knew that she was going to be close on fuel, and they said to go ahead and use the button. And so they had, even back then, kind of a push to pass that they would use on oval races. So Nelson Messias on pit road. The gas man getteth 249 laps. Ty Quilla now moving on up. He has 48 laps on his current set. So Jacob Oster on pit road. He's coming off of pit road. Very slippery access road here. Got to be careful.
Even in a stock car, it's slick as hell.
So far not to stop is Brandon Tross. He is now your leader. He's 49 laps on a current stint. And Antonio Estrada, 49 laps on his current stint. Barrera, 49 laps on his stint. Now, here's the difference between fresh and old tires, folks, right there. You just see how Fraporti just outright just sends it right underneath and pulls away. That's new tires. And Antonio staying on the high side where there's less scrubbing on the tires and more momentum, but it's still not enough. The tires are giving out on him. And also Jacob Collins. Yep. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's the risk you have when you stay out and do a long run, fuel-wise.
Alan Morera also staying out. Here comes the gas man underneath him. And Jacob Collins, who started in the tail end of the field with no qual on the plain white wrapper there. He's up 16 spots to P4 right now. So he's looking to run this out as long as possible. These four, if they get a caution, well, here comes Trost. So here, if they get a caution, they're going to be coming out pretty good on this one. We'll see.
I will also say this, guys, if you look outside the window, it's no longer overcast. That track is baking in the sunlight now, so it's going to get really slick as they get closer towards the end of the race.
There you see right there on the screen, 99 degrees track temperature, 79 degrees ambient. Brandon Trost is now off of pit road or out of his stall. His stop is completed. He is done on the way. Antonio Estrada now, the leader, coming to pit road. El Patron getting it down to the 45 mile per hour speed limit that's here. And he is looking for his stall. There it is. He's going to slide on in there. Hopefully he hits his marks. Right on him, right there. Going to go for a full tank of fuel, at least fuel to get to the finish. A new set of tires, and he'll be down the way. Jacob Collins is now your leader. He is coming to pit road on the backstretch. So that turns the lead now. How did this happen, boys? But Kyle Klindworth is now the leader.
Yeah, that was not expected to happen.
Clindy stopped at 41. RM3 stopped at 45. Akabwezi stopped at 48. So the under apparently is very powerful.
Yeah, most of the time you'll see it balance it out between the undercut, the scheduled, and the overcut. But in this case, it's like you said, the undercut is actually working out. But you also have to take this into the equation. The caution has to fall at the perfect time for it to truly work.
Well, they are tracking him down, so he is not the fastest car, although he still has the purple lap. Purple lap's a 25.4. We can translate that one for you here. And that is a 209.5. And let's take a look as Akabwezi, the Iceman, down low, looking for the position. Last time by, Akabwezi 208, Klindworth 205. So Akabwezi faster by 3 miles per hour.
You also have to remember, he was also in the tow lap on that one.
Yep. Well, now Clindy is in the tow.
Or as Pato O'Ward said about Kyle Larson when Larson set his lap, nice tow lap.
Well, normally it's Marco Andretti setting the tow lap. That's so now it's somebody different.
I had to bring in that reference.
Help everybody watching. Help us keep the positive momentum that we have. IndyCar is, of course, back being broadcast here on iRacing and RaceVerse. If you enjoy RaceVerse coverage of the 4D RACEWEAR Tuesday night IndyCar Oval Series top split and respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so you don't miss out on the future RaceVerse iRacing broadcast. But we also want to thank tonight's, of course, sponsor, 4D RACEWEAR. Check out their made for sim racing gloves, of a line of gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com or click on their link in the stream's description. Thank you, 4D RACEWEAR. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. 60 of 75, and this has gone by really, really quick, which is great because I have Chick-fil-A that is getting colder by the moment. So.
And I literally have a hockey game to get ready to go to because when I got here to the track, Gary and Ryan over here like, what in the hell are you wearing that for? And then it's like, did you guys not realize that it's the Stanley Cup playoffs?
Playoffs?
That's why I got
Playoffs?
my Winnipeg. That's why I got my Winnipeg Jets gear on.
We'll talk about playoffs.
Oh, I thought the season one. I thought you win the championship if you win the President's Trophy. Damn.
Oh, hang on. We got a battle here between Clenworth and Robert Malechka. That was a little too close right at the start-finish line, but they managed to not wreck each other.
Crossover.
Yeah, I was about to say, and here comes a crossover from Kyle Clenworth as they go off side by side off into 3 here. This is some of the best racing we've already seen so far, and it's getting close to the end of the race. But the momentum, though, Kyle Clenworth still has it, but that high side will always come into the advantage as Malechka runs that high line up in turns 1 and 2.
Big run off the corner.
Trying to get that run, and he does. Clenworth slots right back in line, but also Alan Morea is behind him, and not far behind is Brian Campbell.
Well, Morea and Campbell, that is not for position, unfortunately, but they're fighting for 15th and 16th, but they're going to get involved here.
And, dirty air being thrown from Robert Malechka onto Kyle Clenworth. Clenworth had to back out of the throttle there. He caught Alan Morea off guard just a little bit in turns 1 and 2. And Clenworth realized, okay, maybe I'm going to go back to the high line, see if I can use it to my advantage against Robert Malechka. We'll see.
Now, when we interviewed Hamilton last week, didn't he say that Homestead's not one of his tracks?
That was basically one of his bogey tracks.
And yeah, it's not one of his tracks to the tune of being the leader by 1.6 seconds here in the closing stages.
In the wall.
Clindy?
I think Clenworth scraped the wall because he had to really jam on the brakes, as it looked like Malechka was having trouble or something going into 1.
Well, take a look here. We'll ride with Clindy down the front stretch in the draft of RM3. And RM3 has been running the high line to his credit. And there might have been actual contact to the rear there.
I think there was.
And now, Clindy's damaged because he just ducked down out of the way and is now letting the worm man on by. I'm just kind of watching. I'm trying to look and see on his wings if he has any.
I didn't notice it, but I'm gonna go to the onboard camera.
Yeah, he's Trey Shadid now getting around the battle. Ponto! Oh, and then Trost is in there. Trost almost sent it up the middle.
I think there's a little bit of suspension damage, particularly the steering arm on Clenworth.
And I do want to give it up to Ponto again, driving the 3-wide Trost on the bottom, sending it, and he gets there. But I do want to shout out Ponto and his livery, the old Mike Mosley Pepsi Challenge livery.
There's a throwback to the 80s.
That's early. That's when he was. I think he was driving for Dan Gurney in the when Dan Gurney had the original Eagle back in the 83, 82, 81 era.
81 through 84 era, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
When it was the stock block, and it sounded like a stock car engine.
Yeah, and actually that's what Allenser Jr. cut his teeth on in the Coors Light Bullets, the silver bullets. Was one of those Eagle chassis.
Now, last week you were talking about Dick Simon. I hate to say it, but the only thing Dick Simon will ever be remembered for, sadly, is that wreck that he had at Riverside. Back in the 80s.
He topples a car end over end, and he just, when it's done moving, he unbuckles, stands up, and walks away.
and what's sad, I remember watching the video of that. There's a 60 frame per second high definition video of it now. Someone actually said that wreck was actually used for driving lessons in the LA area on what not to do. And it's like, this was on a racetrack. How could that be used as a driving lesson?
Well, we are 3 laps away from the end here as the Iceman has a solid lead right now, 2.8 seconds over his teammate Jacob Oster. And rattle right now brewing for that P2 is RM3 trying to get around Oster in the closing stages. Remember, coming into this race, Malechka won every race except last week. That was Oster. And now it might be 2 in a row as Akabuezi, the Iceman, is looking to break his dry spell, get a win, and extend RM3's dry spell now to 2 races.
I think it might actually work, as white flag is out now, so...
White flag in the air. Weighs it cleanly off the turn 2, down the back straight for the final time. In the 3, keeping it on the middle lane, down to the white line now in the middle of the corner. High exit off of 4, and looking at the checkered flag. And the Iceman is in the winner's column for this season.
And we almost had a wreck coming off of turn 2 between Jacob Oster and Robert Malechka. Malechka was trying to get the run. It started to essentially understeer on him, and he had to back out of it, and he let Oster go by.
Let's watch that one
all
more
or
time.
nothing move for a second there.
Let's watch it right here. He's just up. Oh. And Jacob keeps his foot in it and gets another P2 for him. But it's a P2 that pays a little bit more than the RM3's P3. But a pretty solid day for the power teams at the top. I5G sweeps the top 2 spots. And power slide there in P3.
And it's kind of funny. First, second, and third, all swap positions. At the start of the race and the end of the race.
Stand by. And let's get today's final results up there. Akabuezi, your leader and winner, started from the front. 65 laps led. Pretty good day for him. Oster, one lap led. Malechka down 2 spots. Hard to believe Malechka didn't lead a single lap here. Clindy led 3 while they were doing while the pit stops were completing. And worked his way to the front with a great stop. He finishes 4th. Trost in 5th. Ponto 6th. Shadid 7th. The postman for Porty 8th. Mark Murphy 9th. And the Gasman Messias is in 10th. Biggest gainer right there in the top 10. There's Trost. He has 7 spots. Stephen Lee, 11th. El Patron Antonio Estrada, 12th. Bruno Hermanzini, 13th. Tyquilla, 14th. Morera, 15th. Campbell, 16th. Collins, 17th. Sudik, 18th. And as he said in chat, unreal. He just kind of lamenting at his bad luck there. Eubanks, 19th. And the missile, or excuse me, not the missile, the Sidewinder in 20th. And Braden Carroll and Lascar 21st. All right, let's take a look here and see who might be in the interview room. And we want to get RM3 up here. And where is he? I don't see him. There he is. Hey, Robert, just saw you pop in there. You're here with Justin and Ryan and Gary. Nice battle right there to the very end. Kind of had the roll out of it, or you're going to cause a wreck?
Yeah, I braked, but yeah, I'm just kind of sorry. I'm kind of confused on what happened to my speed. Like I wasn't doing anything different that run, and I just dropped. So I'm trying to look at tire temps. But yeah, sorry, continue.
No, I mean, tell us about your race. I mean, where do you think that you lost speed this time? I mean, you and Hamilton were swapping the lead back and forth all first stint, and then after the pit stops, that might be where you said that you lost the speed. I mean, did you get a Phantom X out there or something, or do you have any idea of what happened?
Not really. I mean, yeah, like first 45 laps or so. I mean, the undercut is so strong, right? I mean,
Right.
we were falling off 3 or 8 to 9 tenths at the end there of like 45 laps. So I knew we had to kind of pit, or I knew Kyle was going to come out ahead of us, so we were going to be undercut. But yeah, I come out on new tires, and I just have no speed. Like we were, Hamilton and I were kind of just cruising that first stint, riding around, just kind of having fun, and yeah, I just lost a ton of speed. I don't know.
Do you think because when the race
really
started, it
happened?
was kind of overcast, and then the sun came out for that second stint?
Track time like changed like 4 degrees, 3
Mhm.
degrees Celsius. So that's not a massive swing per se.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, just like right when I came out of the pits, like you guys probably saw maybe that like I was not catching Kyle whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'll probably have a look at if I got some phantom damage. But yeah, I mean, yeah, first race on new pedals as well, which I was super safe on pigeon. I think we all were, to be honest, but still getting used to those. But yeah, good race by Hamilton there, and Jacob coming back from his early misfortunes with kind of having, I guess, the kind of same issue as me, where it just dies on you for no apparent reason. So yeah.
Well, I mean, you're still on pace for that big 2,000 point mark.
Oh, yeah.
I think you're going to get there, but all things considered, you still got a big lead. You're still on pace for the record. I don't think one bad race is going to kill you. Be curious to find out what you curious to know what you find out, because we haven't really noticed you were falling off the pace that much. We just noticed that when the pit stops really were done, everybody was really strung out at that point. So I don't know, but once you find out, let us know. But I know you got folks you want to say hi to and hello to, sponsors, whatever. So go right ahead, do your shout outs. You earned it.
Yeah, I guess first, I think the issue might be just running high too much, like the bottom's so good.
Mhm.
So that might have overheated the fronts very quickly. But yeah, thank you guys to broadcasting every week. Yeah, taking time out of your day and do that. Thanks to Jacob, Hamilton, and Sudik for hanging out and working together there. And yeah, we'll see. I don't even know where we go next week, but hopefully it's a good
Pocono.
show. Yeah, thanks for everyone. Yeah,
Pocono,
thanks
so
for
that's
everyone showing out. Like, this was a good SOF. So
Yeah,
46,
Pocono's
23
next, so it's the second leg of the what I call the race first Triple Crown. So you won the
Yeah.
first round, so you're still alive for the Triple Crown. So I guess something to look forward to next week.
yeah, thank you guys. Take care.
And no problem. Take care. All right, let's bring up Jacob Oster here, a worm man. Hey, Jacob, got you in the booth with Gary and Justin and Ryan. Got a P2 there at the end. Looks like he kind of had a safer line through 3 and 4 there at the end. And if Robert didn't roll out of it, was probably going to maybe make contact and make your lives difficult there at the very end. And he decided this discretion was the better part of valor, and you got the nose ahead and got the P2. But tell us about the rest of your race. At no cautions, seemed like you were living on the high line for most of the race. Was that really the line that really determined everything? Was just going straight to the top, or is it something that you found out later in the race that the high line was the best line because of the way that the conditions changed in the middle of the race?
Oh no, the Highline was terrible.
The high line was terrible.
Just the way the car and the air is set up, it was meant to originally be hotter, but the Highline seems to feel like it kind of cooks the tires really early. So rolling the bottom was quite important. The middle really wasn't all that there, but I was able to roll the bottom most of that first stint and roll the bottom until I got to Rob, which we were trying to troubleshoot why Rob was so slow. I let him run the bottom for a couple laps, and he was able to still keep up. But I knew I had this momentum on the top and a little bit better tires, so I knew I was going to be able to keep it unless something happened, which little close, but yeah, it's whatever. Having to come out P2, considering that at one point I thought I was gonna fall all the way back to like 10th again.
Right. Well, another P2. I know it's not your necessarily the favorite position, but it worked out pretty well for you today. Shout outs, anyone want to say hi to before we let you go? We move on to Pocono next.
Well, I very much look forward to Pocono. It's my favorite racetrack for this combo. It's fun to work with Hamilton and Rob and Sudik whenever these SLF races come around. We all try to work together to figure out what the best line is. Sad Sudik had a bad day, but congrats to Hamilton, and Rob's always there. So we're going to see how the championship turns out. I don't really know what the point situation is looking like, but he's probably still a good chunk ahead. So I'm hoping to make it at least double digits this week.
All right, any shout outs to anybody you want to say? Or is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
All right. It's like he's like, I've thanked all these people before. Let's move on.
Yes. Same people every week.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Congratulations. We'll see you next week at Pocono.
All right. Thank you, guys.
And the Iceman cometh. Here he is. Hamilton, you got Justin and Ryan and Gary here in the booth. Wow. When the pit stops were all said and done with, really all you had to do was kind of get around Clindy and drove away, and really wasn't close at all. Talk about your race. I imagine that you're pretty happy with your performance, because there was really no one there to challenge you at all.
Yeah, that felt pretty good. Especially that's probably the first one of these I've won, so feels good. And I was able to I think running the bottom was way better on the lighter fuel for sure. Because swapping the first run, we're trading what lane we're running each corner. So that worked to get us away from the field a bit. Clendy trying to do the little undercut, it worked a bit, but I think the tire difference definitely matters a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit of temp for sure. Not even tire wear, just temp for sure. And bottom works really, really well. So I was able to get away and then kind of get pulled by Ty. So worked out. Pretty good race for me.
Well, we got to ask you, because last week I remember halfway, kind of partially through this race, I asked the guys, didn't Hamilton in the interview last week say Homestead's not one of his tracks? As you were pulling away from, I mean, were you trying to lull us into a safe sense of security, or were you sandbagging on purpose, or really is this not your place? So you just happened to got lucky here today.
In the past, I've never liked it, but it drove actually. The setup was always really tight before. You could never really pass or anything. This racing was actually a lot more interesting. You're able to pass, able to make things any lane kind of work. And it was way more interesting to race. I'm usually better at tracks that are tire wear heavy. So I can save tire a bit. Those are usually where I'm better at. So it ended up being pretty good for me. And I think I definitely like this version of Homestead. So I hope it stays this way.
Shout outs. Anyone want to say hi to? Friends, family, sponsors?
Shout out to I5G. Jacob, Rob, and Sudik. We were all chilling, so that was fun. Yeah.
All right, well, we'll catch you next week at Pocono, man.
Cool. Thank you.
I think he was trying to lull us into this. He was sandbagging. I think he was. Yeah. I think he was sandbagging. He's like, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to put a hurting on everybody at Homestead, and I'm just going to tell everybody, play rope-a-dope, and they're like, I'm not good at this place. And boy, is he not good. I mean, to the point is the man, I think, won the pole. No, who won the pole? Malechka did, but he qualified at the front row, led the first lap, and then, of course, runs away in that second stint, and no one could catch him.
Yeah, that was the one thing I was not expecting this race, how powerful the undercut would be today.
Justin, anything?
What
or are you still sitting in awe?
Yeah, I'm still sitting in awe, but the undercut definitely did pay off today, as is tradition. When you know when to play the cards right, and it played into his hands, as the old saying goes.
All right.
Other than that, I am looking forward to next week when we head up to the Tricky Triangle and Pocono. That should be fun. But it's not the new Pocono though. It's the Legacy Pocono.
The bumpy Pocono. But we're still going to count it as leg 2 of the Race First Triple Crown. It's going to be Michigan. I think we had Michigan as leg 1 to start the season off, and then leg 2 here. And then Indianapolis will be the final leg, and that will be the final race of the season. See if somebody can win the Triple Crown. We'll make the Triple Crown a big thing. It used to be back in the day. So few people want it, though. Everyone kind of tends to forget about it. But maybe Robert can make us all remember. But that's it for tonight. Once again, your podium here from Homestead is Robert Malechka in 3rd, Jacob Oster in 2nd, and the Iceman, well, he sure cameth, because he is the winner today by a huge margin, somewhere in the neighborhood, I think, of 3 seconds there in the closing stages. Just really wasn't close at all. So congratulations to Hamilton Ackleblazy, as he is tonight's winner. Join Racers again next week for round 8 of the 4D RACEWEAR Tuesday night IndyCar Oval Series top split of season 2 of 2024 as we go to the second leg of the Race First Triple Crown, Pocono Raceway. Coverage begins around 8:15 p.m. Eastern time. Again, it's 8:15 p.m. Eastern. Remember, it's a new time that we've done this season, so make sure that if you forget or whatever, always go to youtube.com/racefirst find the correct times in your area. Hey, we love bringing these races to you. They're not easy, require time and money to produce. Because of your generosity and donations, we've been able to bring you IndyCar Oval action nearly sponsor free. If you enjoy our passion or share our passion for the sport of IndyCar and enjoyed our coverage of the 4D RACEWEAR Tuesday night IndyCar Oval Series top split, please take time to go visit our GoFundMe page. The link is in the description, and donate to our 2024 broadcast fund. Hey, we realize times are tough, so any contribution will be greatly appreciated. We thank you for watching and make us a part of your Tuesday evenings each and every week. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game, that's a hard one to play too, so please help support Race First with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below. Let us know you thought of tonight's race and throw us a jump to the chat. Thank you very much. And if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so you don't miss out on more of Race First's other iRacing programming, including, I believe our next race is going to be the FIS Thursday night, 8:50 p.m. from Detroit. That's the FIS. Check it out. You'll if you enjoy IndyCar racing on road courses, you definitely want to check out this league. Keep your browser set here for the most in-depth IndyCar knowledge and all of iRacing. Race First, we know what Indy means. Race First Tuesday night IndyCar Oval Series top split naming rights are paid for by 4D RACEWEAR. Check out their made for sim racing line of gloves, shoes, and apparel. Visit them today at 4dracewear.com. For business inquiries to learn more about Race First and what we do, visit racefirst.com. Like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. You can follow all of us via our Twitter handles right at the bottom of the screen. So for Justin Penshauer, Ryan Eric King, everyone at Race First, I'm Gary Gatto saying to all good night. Thanks for watching, and to all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, come home safe. Catch us again next week at Pocono for round 2 of the Race First Triple Crown and the next race of the 4D RACEWEAR Tuesday night IndyCar Oval Series top split. Good night.